Today, on episode 220 of the podcast, I speak with my friend Tamara about physical and mental wellness. Before you go into the episode, I just want to say caveat that we are not medical professionals. This is not medical advice. Just two people chatting about their lived and heard of experiences of people when it comes to mental and physical wellness. So, enjoy. Hi, welcome to today's episode of your favorite daily podcast, A Couple of Things, a podcast about things. Today I have a very special guest, Tamara. Tamara, please introduce yourself to the people.
Hello, thanks Lade for having me. My name is Tamara Posibi. I'm Chief Executive at ITOS Business. We're an advisory designed to help startups and SMEs grow. And also, I'm also Community Director at Unicorn Founders Africa, a network of founders, investors, and operators in the tech ecosystem in Africa. Thanks for having me again.
Thank you for being here. Okay, so I'm going to start with like the regular standard kicking off question, which is what is on your mind today?
Hmm. Very interesting question. So what's been on my mind for the past 2 days? And I'm also trying to be careful not to set the tone to be too serious, but really what's been on my mind for the past 2 days has really been young Africans,
Mm.
right? Young Africans and especially Nigerians, really. I'm a Nigerian, Niger beef through and through. So Africa has the youngest population in the world. Nigeria, really, a lot of that is also situated in Nigeria because we're the most populous black continent. About 60% of our
Black country.
population, thank you, country, thank you. About 60% of our population are young people, right? And I'm just thinking about excellence, really, excellence among young Nigerians, young Africans, mostly young Nigerians, right? So, I mean, we've had to deal with a lot of government issues over the past few years, really. And so, I mean, you would say that the average young Nigerian has grit, right? But excellence, do we really have excellence? That's just really what has been on my mind for the past 2 days, really. Yeah. Thanks for
Yeah.
asking.
Yeah, I see what you mean about grades. Like we are like very tenacious, you know, go for gold people. But that excellence point, I also do agree. And I don't even think it's a youth thing. I think it's like there's a problem in general. Like look at the Olympics, for example. What
Yeah.
has been happening to some of the Nigerian athletes because somebody didn't do their work is so incredibly like I don't even know the English to speak right now.
It's
But
very
yeah,
disappointing,
yeah,
It's
disappointing yeah. And that's a very yeah. I think about it sometimes too, like, is this really how I go? But anyway, what else is on your mind? Is there anything else on your mind?
that's just really, really, that's just really what has been on my mind for the past 2 days. And also
Mm,
just really think about how within my own locus of control, what I can do to support, young Nigerians within that sphere to just be more excellent individuals, right? And to stand out,
mm,
really, and to just really reprogram mindsets towards excellence, really. That's just really what has been on my mind for
yeah.
the past 2 days.
Okay. Initially, when I scheduled this conversation, I didn't really have a topic in mind. But when we started talking, I remember that you're a wellness babe. So okay, I think we should talk about wellness and um natural methods and healthy eating and all of those things that you do. So I know you were growing a farm, not a farm, a garden. Why did I say farm? A garden in
Okay.
Lagos. How is that going? What is that like? Because when I was living in Lagos, that's something I wanted to do, but I just couldn't like think about where to start from.
Mhm. Okay, so let me just give a bit of backstory, right? So I've always been someone who loves nature, who likes plants, who likes growing things, right? But things really sparked for me in 2016 when um I was trying out my hands on an agricultural business. Then so I was trying to run like an agricultural startup, floated in, but and we're growing stuff to sell, right?
Mm,
And I realized that a lot of the farmers were not prioritizing people's health, in what they were growing. For instance, that people are using pesticides on our vegetables.
Mm,
That's not going to go away. That's going to seep into it, and you're going to ingest that. So it really just sparked a curiosity and an interest in that space about, okay, what is it that we're putting in our bodies, and how can we be more conscious, about our health, about our wellness? Because things are springing up, you just find out, okay, someone who has been considerably healthy just all of a sudden slumped and passed away. Like,
yeah.
what's going on? What was the backstory? What happened? Right. And you now try and try to dig deep and, okay, what's going on? So that incident in 2016 really just sparked that interest, and I've always just followed that line. And I've also grown gardens wherever I've lived, because like I said, I really like nature. I really like plants. It's very soothing. It's very calming. I believe that everyone, especially in busy cities and with busy commutes, to try to grow something, nurture something. It does a lot to your for your well-being, right? So has it been growing in Lagos? It's been interesting. I have a very tiny space, but I try to make it work, really. I've not lived in, like I said, Lagos, busy commute, city. You don't necessarily always have very, very large spaces to live in, right? But I've tried to always make do what I could. So I've had a garden up a wall, and that's been my vegetable garden, right? Currently, I have a balcony, like a huge balcony, that I have with plants. I think I have about let's say last year I had about 100 plants, but I decluttered a lot, so I have about maybe 70 to maybe 80 plants now in that tiny space.
Not like food bearing plants, just plants.
Not just food bearing plants. I mean, so I grow two different varieties. I have fruit trees. So I have like some edible plants, fruit trees, vegetables. I have that, but I also have like horticultural plants, ornamental plants. You know, I also have that growing as well.
Okay. So if like say I want to start a garden in my house, I don't have a balcony, I don't have like a backyard, a garden, that kind of outdoor space. What can I do?
Start with pot. Start with a pot.
Mm,
Start with a potted plant. Figure out your needs, where you are. Look at where places where you can get maybe full or partial sun. Try to grow something up a wall. Like I mentioned earlier, one of my a garden I've grown in Lagos was really up a wall, a sunny wall. I mean, it was my kitchen wall where it had some sun. I grew
sun
vegetables. I
hit
just
it.
put like a wood structure there, and I
Mm,
planted vegetables. I had spinach, I had herbs, and it was really great, and one thing I also really liked was when young people, especially children, came around, they were always so curious about it,
mm.
right? So yeah, it was just really nice and a wholesome experience.
So for like a baby garden grower or somebody who wants to grow a garden, a tiny garden in their house, because I live in Amsterdam and the houses are also quite small. There's no really space for anything. Um, what is like a basic thing that you can start growing, like something that's simple, low maintenance, and easy to grow in your house, but won't then also overrun your house?
Okay, so I mean, first of all, what I would say for anybody who study gardening is know your why, first of all. If you don't know your why, you will just be growing plants and it will be dying
Mm,
because you're not taking care of it and there's no interest, right? So know why you want to grow plants. For instance, I grow plants because I love them. I grow it for my well-being, also for my health, because I have a lot of herbs, spices, and things growing here, right? So know your why, first of all. Then try to find out plants that work with your climate,
mm,
right? For instance, might be some native plants. For instance, if you wanted to do like an ornamental plant, there are some native plants, suited to your area that are easy to maintain. You could go to like maybe your municipality or maybe your local government, depending on how it works there. Find out the kind of plants that are good over there, and find one that really speaks to you, one that you really like, and start from there. Grow one, then as much and nurture it as much as you can. Then you see it, you like it, you can now start adding more.
okay. So for somebody who is in Nigeria or in Lagos specifically, what would be a good one to start with?
Hmm. First of all, I wouldn't say that even in Lagos, as you are like this, as we are, it's important to grow a garden. Our food supply, we, it's we're not like in developed societies where you can easily monitor your food supply, know where your food is coming from. You really don't know. You really don't know what farm your food came from. It's just coming to one central place. You don't know the farmer. You don't know what was whether it was pesticides. You don't even know if it's organic. We don't have those things. So as much as possible, especially if you have space. If you have space in Lagos, trust me, you should. In fact, I would consider you a wealthy person, right? Try as much as possible to grow something. So we have native plants. For instance, now if you're growing like a garden for a vegetable garden, start with herbs and vegetables that you eat often. Start with
Mm,
something as simple as ugu.
yeah.
That's what we call fluted pumpkin leaves. You can start with
Mm-hmm.
spinach. Start from there. Yes, fluted pumpkin rather, excuse me, spinach. If you have the space, do a few fruit trees. All these things can actually grow in pots, right? Find a place you have full sun, partial sun. They can all grow in pots, right? So start with those maybe two vegetables first. Find something you can climb on, excuse me, like a trellis. You could, if you can't buy one, you could actually do something makeshift, like a carpenter, and have you grow and start from there. Start with a few herbs. I always grow basil every year. I really like basil in my food.
Mm,
And so that's for vegetable. That's for a vegetable garden, right? Then for ornamental plants, that was something very easy. Like there's a variety called pothos. I found that only a few people have tried to kill pothos. It's literally a very simple hardy plant that can grow easily, right? So start with
mm,
that. They start with other ornamental ones. You could go to garden. No, no, there are like several gardeners around this. Go find
yeah.
the ones that are close to you and see which plant you like, which plant appeals to you. They start from there. I always advise if you're a beginner, start from one, see how well you do with one before adding more, so you don't overwhelm yourself. Yeah, so that
Yeah.
would be my tip for
Yeah.
growing gardens
That
in
is
Lagos.
very helpful. I think I'll actually do that and find out like what can I grow because I've just been trying to. I've always wanted to do that, but I just feel so overwhelmed by like where do I start from? So this is very helpful. In taking care of yourself and like being more cautious of your wellness and all of those things, what other things do you do besides growing some of the food that you eat?
Okay, so I mean, for wellness, I take a more holistic approach in the sense that so I prioritize well-being of my body, well-being of my spirit, well-being of my mind, well-being of my soul, right? So well-being of my body, I prioritize fitness a lot. I started actively working out in 2021. I was just, clueless around the gym until I picked up my first barbell and
Mm,
everything changed from there, right? I started lifting weights and I just enjoyed the entire process. And I mean, since then, it's just been great. I really enjoy going to the gym. I find that some people could do like home workouts. I've not really
mm,
been that kind of person. I really, really enjoy going to the gym. I enjoy the process of even dressing up to go to the gym, right? So I'll do that, and that really just also not only just helps my body really, but helps my mind a whole lot,
yeah.
right?
For me,
So
my own problem
I
is just that like I don't think I'm motivated enough to just sit there in my house and work out. Like and even going to the gym, I have to do a class. At least I have to have at least two classes. Otherwise, like I'm not gingered enough. So I guess it's finding what works for you.
Yeah, exactly. Finding what works. Some people actually do way better with home workouts than going to the gym. I don't know how to motivate myself quietly, right? So I just prefer the entire process of going to the gym, right? So I do that, then I try to watch what I eat. Um, one thing I also supercharged like it for me when it comes to health was I had to unlearn everything I'd learned about nutrition. Um, growing up, right? You learn the pyramids and things like that, and you now realize, okay, growing up, and I think what actually happened was when I did start my fitness journey in 2021, I started following these guys on, like, started seeing like fitness accounts on Twitter. I created a list. So I was seeing some kind of tips from these guys, and a lot of it just sounded like conspiracy theory. I was like, these people are sounding like conspiracy. What do they mean by eat more eggs and eat more protein? Eggs doesn't it have cholesterol or things like that?
Yeah.
But I actually tried it and I found out that it was working for me. I was like, ah. Wow. So I had to dig deeper, do a lot of personal research. And I supercharged my diet. So now, I mean, on my plate, you would find more protein than carbohydrates. Carbohydrates are very important, great for
Yeah.
energy to fuel your body. But I find that protein are like building blocks of the body. So I prioritize that a lot.
Hmm.
My fruits, vegetables, I try to get that in every day. Um, and I found that my health was improving. There was less hospital visits. That's
Hmm.
combined with like fitness and nutrition. There was less hospital visits for me. I wasn't like falling sick as much. I wasn't like typically a lot of the time. I mean, before like I started prioritizing my health and all that, I go to the hospital at least maybe 4 times 5 times a year. I wasn't
Hmm.
going. Or sometimes I just wasn't going. Maybe just go
Yeah.
for checkup. So doing those changes, learning those things like eating more protein. That was just really it for me. Eating more protein, more fruits, more vegetables. Really just changed it for me. Then I started cutting out things. And I found that when I even started eating more protein, I started feeling more like satiety. So before
Hmm.
I know it, I was slowly reducing soda, slowly reducing junk. And if you know me before, you know that people used to call me an ant. That's how much I loved sugar and junk food. And I just found that slowly it was reducing,
Hmm.
right? So that's just really changed everything. Then so fitness, nutrition. Then I also as when I clocked, so I'm currently 28 going on 29. I'm 29 October. When I turned 25, 26.
Same. Wait, no.
When I
Is it this year? I thought 29. But also in October, sha.
oh, great, yeah, October babies. So when I turned 25, 26, I started learning more about okay, how to take care of your body, supplements and things like that. Then I started doing like more research into it. Before I started taking supplements like magnesium, right? I heard, that okay. So first of all, before I share anything about supplements, please make sure you check in with your general practitioner, your doctor, before
Yep.
you take
None of
anybody's
this is
advice.
medical advice.
Thank you. None of this is medical advice. Very
It's
important to
just two
note,
people
right?
talking about health, their
About
personal.
health and their personal experience. So it's very important. Please always make sure you check in with your doctor first before taking anything. So I started learning about magnesium, the different kinds. Then I started taking magnesium, right? And I used to have insane insomnia in the sense that I will not sleep. If that's why you like people normally will be active on social media during the day. I'll be active at midnight because I can't sleep and I'm bored. I can't do anything. I don't want to work at that time of the night. I after doing my research, I took one to sleep and I slept. I was so shocked, like what's going on?
With the
Before
magnesium,
I
yeah?
knew it, yeah, before I knew it, insomnia had reduced, right? Just by taking insomnia, I was like, a lot of things I don't know in this life. Oh, what's going on?
Yeah, I also heard about the magnesium thing being really good for sleep. But I have a friend who took magnesium and they had nightmares.
Interesting.
And then I Googled it and apparently it was a thing. Like some people do get nightmares from magnesium. So again, none of this is
Wow.
professional medical
Medical
advice.
advice.
This is
Very
just people
important to
talking
know.
about their experiences.
Yeah. Because I had another friend that took magnesium and she didn't used to have periods before, but it came back. Right.
Wow.
And that person took magnesium. Yeah, and that's I got I shared my experience online. Then people were reaching out to me. And I just share, like I said, I mentioned I always tell you, please go to your doctor first though, before you take anybody's advice. Right.
Mm.
But they would try it and they would tell me what what their experience was. So one person, a friend of a close dear friend of mine, her periods came back. She wasn't always having periods before. Another friend of mine got it for his girlfriend, and his girlfriend used to have very heavy periods, right? And those heavy periods reduced, right? Things
Mm.
it was now like coming, the flow was not coming normally, right? So I now going to realize, okay, a lot of our bodies and maybe what we call sickness, it's really just sometimes could be nutritional deficiencies that we may have, right? So I just,
Yeah.
like I said, I'm a student of research. I enjoy research and I enjoy learning new things. I enjoy reading medically reviewed studies. I know doctors sharing doctors' opinion. A lot of doctors will disagree about it. I enjoy watching and reading that, those papers and stuff. I started learning about okay, so a lot of things in our bodies are just really nutritional, deficiencies. So when I turned 25, 26, I now started making some just tiny investments, right, into like supplements, checking out, okay, going to my doctor, okay, do my blood work, what am I deficient in, right? And adding those things and finding and seeing like a difference. And it was just really good for me. That's also something I really like supercharged my health, right? And so I mean I started taking like more supplements and it's combined with fitness, nutrition. Before my skincare bill was literally half. I was not spending as much on skincare. I was not really spending as much on healthcare as well. Things like that. So those are just things I've been doing, like I have done so far to, change and supercharge my health. I'm still I still consider myself a student of life. I'm always there's something to learn and unlearn, right? So I'm always very open to it. I enjoy interacting with doctors, sharing their knowledge about different things, such as how the human body works. For instance, now two supplements I make sure to take close to my period, time of my period. Let me again, please, we are two ladies discussing. So I can share,
Exactly.
right?
Like I want to say that people's bodies are different and people have different like things going on for them because like I also took magnesium one like for a bit. It didn't really do anything for me. But then I have a friend who was having nightmares. I have another friend who swears by magnesium. Like he makes she sleeps better. She's been taking it. So again, we're just talking about our experiences. Okay.
Yeah. Yeah, very important. So I mean, I started taking like also, supplements to as herbs to really as herbs as supplements as well. So two herbs I take like close to my period, red raspberry and vitex and chasteberry. And I have not really felt a single period pain.
Mm.
Like I just feel, oh, I feel like my period is coming, and then I know it comes. I was not like before. I used to have very insane pain. Used to have like, I mean, I will not be able to function properly. Have crazy headaches and things like that. It's just little things like herbs and supplements really help to fix that. And then again, what I also share is supplements are not a quick fix. Neither are
Yeah.
they a replacement for a healthy lifestyle, right?
And a proper
Replacement for
diet.
a proper diet and health. You need to fix those things for the supplements are just they do what they're supposed to do in quotes,
That's why
supplements.
they're called
Mm.
supplements. They supplement.
Exactly. so so yeah, those are things that I've done to help my health because I'm also very particular about and I think it's good to start early. Like how we learn about retinol, you start your retinol in your late 20s and things like that. I believe like in making efforts and investments just to age gracefully. Like it's a privilege to age, it's a blessing, right? So we can do what we can, in our late 20s, 30s, 40s to just ease into those ages, right? So that's really all like, I do for like health and, wellness.
Yeah, that like what you just said now about starting really early. I was because I guess what at that age now, God, we are becoming our parents. Anyway, a
I'm
lot of
telling you.
conversations I've been having with people, my friends, people that I know around, it almost always goes back to like health and fitness now. Like very recently, more recently is really like, oh, people are like now talking about more going to the gym, more doing physical activities, more eating better and things like that. And I remember
Yeah,
reading recently and or was it my friend that told me somehow I sure came across this information about how like especially for women that as you're growing older your bone density is reducing or something with your bones sha whatever and so you have to lift you have to um
yeah,
lift so that you can gain muscle that can counteract that. And the earlier you start, the better. And it was very interesting because I also just remembered now that I went to this museum in Amsterdam, Body World Museum, and it was basically about like the human body and all the systems
interesting.
that we have. And one of the things that I remember seeing there was about because they have like actual, like real like muscular systems and skeletal systems like of real people who donated their
Hmm.
um body parts to the museum for science or whatever. Anyway, so they were talking about how like they were like concrete examples of this is how it looks when you don't do this thing and this is how it looks when you do this thing. I was like, wow, you need to like you
Yeah,
actually need to what and when you're young, it feels like it's so easy, right? It's like you just do whatever. But then as you get older, you actually have to pay attention to these things. And it's not even only for like cosmetic reasons, because although that's a
yeah,
very
of
good
course.
reason, cosmetic
Yeah.
reason is also a good reason, but it's not just for that, it's for like the quality of life that you can have as you grow older.
Mhm.
I've been also been seeing a lot of TikToks and Instagram videos of people in their 60s, 70s, 80s who are like becoming more focusing more on weightlifting and
Yeah.
mobility and all those kinds of things, and how it has greatly improved the quality of their lives. And some of them picked it up in their 50s or 60s. So it's never too late, but the earlier you
Never too
start, the
late.
better.
Yeah, I mean, when you mentioned that thing about reducing some diseases, yeah, so you drastically reduce your chances as a woman of osteoporosis and sarcopenia if you are lifting weights,
Yeah.
right? And you are building that muscle, really. So it's weightlifting with proper form. I must always add,
Yeah, with proper
really, because
form.
you see some people just holding it hastily and strangely at the gym. Don't hurt yourself. Weightlifting with proper form, I call it the ultimate anti-aging hack because it would really help you, like building the muscles for the next decade. Really.
Yeah, I'm really trying to get into that, at least like do that more often. And it's really, and like I'm not even focusing on like PRs or whatever. It's just like it's amazing the things that your body can do if you
Yeah,
just try
just
to
try.
do it. Like, and you'll be so amazed, and it's very, very exciting. Sometimes when I do something in the gym or in any of my classes, I'm like, what just happened? I just did that. So that's very
Yeah,
exciting.
yeah.
Sorry, go ahead.
Okay. Yeah, so I think that's how I felt when I first did my first 100 kg. I was
Mm,
like, what? I was so shocked. Then I mean I could deadlift 120, you know, and I could now squat, things like that. So it's great. But I mean, currently as I've matured in the gym, I mean, I'm still a beginner, really. I've just really been 3 years in the gym, right? But as I've matured, I'm focusing now a lot on also mobility, like you mentioned earlier. So mobility, those stretches that help you,
yeah,
give you easier joints, flexible body, reduce body pains in different areas, because if you're not exercising those parts of your body, it's coming stiff, and things like that. But if you're prioritizing mobility as well as you prioritize, other exercises like lifting with resistance and stuff like that, you really just help yourself, really just help your quality of life. You can move, bend, stretch with ease, with no pains and stuff like that. So
exactly.
yeah, because I mean, this whole thing about your knees becoming weak at 30, please, it's a myth. I would say it's a myth. I would say if you put in effort early, you don't really have to experience any of that.
Yeah, and again, everybody's body is different and lived
Yeah.
experiences. So you could do this is why it's very important, like with all of these things, to get professional advice. Like, okay, if you want
Exactly.
to start lifting weights or whatever, don't just go to the gym and pick up a 20 kg dumbbell because they said
Like that,
you
you
should start
fall on
lifting
you fall flat on your face.
weights. That's even if you can lift it. So like if you can't afford like to go to a professional to pay for, and because I know in Nigeria it's not easy to like get all these things that you typically don't have. Like, oh, I feel like for Nigerians in particular, like we often underrate what our health insurance will cover. So
Yeah.
contact your health insurance. They could cover things like that. Like there's so much information out there, and there's so many resources, and there's so many people, and they're physical therapists and personal trainers and all of these things that could fall within the range of what is affordable for you. So don't be put off by cost, because if you don't pay for it now, you pay for it later.
Yeah. And
So
another thing I would say is apart from just prioritizing wellness of body, I would also say prioritize wellness of mind.
mm,
That's something a lot of us sometimes may not want to always prioritize, right? So
yeah,
things like not harboring negative emotions. You'll be surprised at how, you know, just making sure that you are thinking conscious about thinking positive thoughts can really just improve your outlook on life. There was a
mm,
studies I read a while back about how you can easily tell the kind of life that people have lived, right? By the kind of wrinkles they have at a certain age. For instance, now, someone who has lived a happy, joyful life, right? You see that they have smile lines. You see that I mean, the corner of their eyes, there
yeah,
are wrinkles there because they are shining bright, right?
yeah,
Meanwhile, someone who has not lived lived the opposite. They're having from skull lines, skull, like,
Hmm.
is it skull or skull
Yeah.
now? Skull lines, right? And you know, the one with the happy lines, the smile lines, that's a
Silence.
beautiful way to age. That's a beautiful life. I mean, you've lived life, you've lived it well, and I mean, of course, your face now, it's now a testament. Face and even the wrinkles you have is now a testament to the kind of life you've lived. So really, just even prioritizing positive thoughts, things like forgiveness, forgiving, things like just being, cheerful, making the effort, conscious effort to really just help your outlook on life, and also reduces your risk of some kind of illnesses.
Yeah, and even rest, like just resting. I think especially at this age, we always feel like, oh, we have energy, we'll do it later, I will sleep later, I need to finish this thing, I need to complete that deadline, I need to do this, I need to do that. Is very important for us to rest in this our age because we feel like we have limitless energy and we can rest later, but you need to rest now
Yeah, we need to.
and
We need to. And
incorporate that
especially,
in anything. Sorry, go ahead.
no, I'm listening, please.
No, yeah, the guests. Yeah, it's your episode.
Okay, so I mean, especially in this part of the world when we believe in, we are like very heavy on the hustle culture, right? We
Mm.
don't think, we don't prioritize vacation. We are traveling for business. We are traveling for this. We're not really prioritizing those things. It's important to do so, Those are things that would help you, rest, especially. Don't take from that period of rest. Proudly saying that you only sleep 5 hours every day means that you're going to be paying for it in sickness way later.
Yeah. Do you know that thing? I don't know how that thing became like a bragging right. Like I sleep only 4 hours a day or I sleep only 5 hours a day. Your body will crash. Not
I
only your
blame
body, your
motivational
mind.
speakers. Yeah,
Your
I blame
mind.
motivational speakers, man.
And I feel like the problem that I found is that people often conflate the thing of like, that Bible verse that says a little sleep, a little slumber, a
Yeah,
little folding of the hands to rest, and poverty will come upon you, and so on and so forth. And people conflate that with that you should never rest or you should never sleep, which is funny because the same Bible says that God gives his beloved rest
sleep.
and that you have to rest. So like there is a balance. Nobody's saying that you should now sleep for 12 hours a day and not do anything productive with yourself, but you should also not be. I mean, it's understandable that there may be times where you have to like work late or you can't go to bed early or something happens, but that should not be your literal everyday life. Like that's unhealthy for your
Very
physical
unhealthy.
and your mental well-being. All right,
Yes,
cool. So is
I
there
agree.
anything you want to leave the people with as we wrap up, like one or two last things on the topic of mental and physical wellness that you would like to share, maybe something from your experience or just like a tip that you found very helpful for yourself?
So basically, I mean, may not necessarily be a tip, but I'll just advise is really start from where you are. Don't try to
Mm,
overwhelm yourself with so many things at once, right? When it comes to health and wellness, some of the tips and all the things we shared were gotten over time. Didn't just happen immediately, right? We're not just describing that happened immediately, right? But
mm,
just start from, so if it means okay, making the effort to go to the gym once every week. Start from there. Build that
mm.
habit first. Then you can now
Yeah.
start adding more days, right? Or
Or even going for
even
a
making sure
walk
exactly
if you
walk
live in
every
a
day.
in a gated estate in Lagos.
Yeah, start from there. Another thing could be prioritizing vegetables on your plate and
Mm,
more protein. I can assure you that if you are used to eating a whole big, maybe give a whole big portion of rice and maybe nothing else, but you reduce that rice or half the rice, add, some form of protein, more protein on your plate, add some vegetables on the side. Just start from there. Just little things from there and build that habit. Before you know it, things will change. And you will see a lot of difference in your health by just doing that. So
mm.
don't overwhelm yourself. Just start, pick up something, you can start, right? Or maybe just saying that I will have a piece of fruit every day. Start from there. If you're maybe not used to eating any fruit or drinking any water, just start from that first. Build that habit, then you can add more. That's what I can just I would really advise.
Awesome. Thank you so much for coming on today. I didn't know where this conversation was going to go, but I like where you went. And if people would like to connect with you on about wellness stuff, where can they find you?
So I have a wellness page, really, apart from my major, maybe professional social media handles. I have a wellness page called Wellness with Tamara on Instagram. Please feel free to follow me there and connect with me there. I'm always sharing tips about health, wellness, even herbs and spices and things like that. I always share that there. So yeah, and I'm also Tamara Posibi on all social media handles as well.
Awesome. Thank you so much. And thank you all for listening. Bye. There's still over 100 episodes to go. I still need questions. I still need suggestions of who to talk to. I still need people who want to come on to talk about something to fill the form. So please do that. Thank you very much. And yeah, do like, share, subscribe if you found it interesting, insightful, and all the nice things. Bye.